Hey guys, my name is Francisco Hernandez, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the new Godox AD600 Pro. This light right here, which in my opinion is a very nice upgrade over the original Godox AD600 Pro, which is this light right here. I have both with me today so I can show you guys directly how these two lights compare. I was very fortunate to get this light about a month ago, so I've actually used it outdoors on location using high-speed sync and also in the studio, so I have a good amount of experience to share with you guys for today's review. To start this review off, I wanted to talk about some of the new upgrades that the 600 Pro 2 has over the original. And the very first thing I can let you guys know about is something that I was really excited about, which is the new colorful display. For me personally, I wasn't really bothered by the old display, but the new display is just so nice and colorful and rich and has a nice contrast that you can actually see it in very bright sun, which was probably my only real concern with the old display. If it was nice and bright and sunny out, then I would have a little bit trouble reading exactly what was on the side of the screen. The second upgrade I want to talk about is the new wider power output range. On the 600 Pro 2, you can go from 1/1, which is full power, all the way down to 1/512, which is a stop lower than what was capable on the original 600 Pro. The third new feature I wanted to talk about is the new color-coded group light indicator. This is a light that's going to be available on both sides of the 600 Pro 2, and what it's going to do is let you guys know if the lights are on the same group or not. This is a feature that is getting slowly rolled out into the latest Godox lights out there. So there's actually another new light by Godox that's called the Godox AD200 Pro 2, which again is an updated version of the AD200 Pro. And that light also has the group light indicator. When I used the 600 Pro 2 in the studio with two of the 200 Pro 2s, I was able to see exactly that the lights were in different groups by the different colors on the sides of the lights. The next new feature I wanted to talk about is the wireless sync feature. This is something that's not just on the 600 Pro 2, but also some of the latest Godox lights out there like the Lux Master and the 200 Pro 2. In order to use this feature, you do need the latest Godox X3 Nano transmitter or any future transmitters that have that same feature, and I will show you guys how to use this feature later in this video. For any studio photographers out there that want very fast flash durations, there's actually a new mode on the 600 Pro 2 called freeze mode. So on the original 600 Pro, you did have the regular standard mode as well as a color temperature mode that improved the color accuracy. But in addition to those two modes, you now have the freeze mode in the new 600 Pro 2. The last new feature that I want to talk about is something that I was personally really excited for, which is the new ByColor 40-watt LED modeling lamp on the 600 Pro 2. On the original, you didn't have the ability to change the color temperature, and it was a little bit weaker at 38 watts. The reason why I was really excited about this ByColor LED lamp is because in the past, the only Godox light to have that availability of ByColor in the modeling lamp was the 300 Pro, and that light was a little weak at, I believe, 12 watts. And this is going to be 40 watts to work with, so it's going to be way better for me to not only get enough output in my lighting, but also match the color temperature of other light sources that I may be working with. Those were some of the ways that the lights are different, but they're also very similar as well. So I did want to talk about that for a brief second. If you do have an original 600 Pro like I do, then you would be happy to know that if you do get the 600 Pro 2, you can actually use the battery on the original 600 Pro with the new 600 Pro 2. Both batteries are still rated to be the same of 360 full powered flashes, but if you do use the lights at lower outputs, then you get more use out of the battery. The bulb design is also the same, so in case you do get the 600 Pro 2, you can still use the old 600 Pro bulb on the new light. Another minor difference is the cooling vents on the side of the light are now diagonal instead of horizontal. And lastly, something that's similar but different in a good way is the umbrella holder on the light now has a knob so that you can tighten the umbrella on the light. On the original 600 Pro in the past, when I've used umbrella style modifiers, I did feel like it was just slipping, so that knob is very, very helpful. Actually, one last thing that I almost forgot about is the side of the light now has less buttons. So in case you guys are a fan of dedicated buttons for different features, then you now have to access those features in the menu system rather than having a dedicated button on the side of the light. I believe that 3 of those buttons were the beep indicator sound button, the high-speed sync button, as well as the wireless button. But now let me go ahead and show you guys what the menu looks like on the new 600 Pro 2, as well as go through the menu and show you guys the different features it has. Here on the bottom right is the test fire button, which now is going to double as the on off button. So all you need to do is hold it down for about 2 seconds before you guys see this little dial icon that tells you to rotate the dial a certain direction to turn it on. And now here you can actually see the new lowest output of 512. You can see what group the light is on, what channel the light is on, as well as the flash duration on the bottom of the screen. On the top right of the screen, you do have a battery indicator. This is something I do wish Godox would improve on. I would rather see a number percentage of the battery life rather than an icon that displays different chunks of power. I'd rather have that specific number so I can know exactly how much life my battery has left. Now let's go into the menu by hitting the menu button, and on the top you can see there's a new wireless section. You need to click on set to enter into that, and in this section is where you can change the wireless to be on or off, change the channel, change the group, the ID, or enable that wireless sync feature. As I mentioned before, once you change the group of the light, it will change the color on the side of the light as well. So group A is going to be red and B is going to be green, for example, with C being blue. You also have all these colors right here that is going to be D through F and 0 through 9 right there. Back to A. Right now I did change the channel of this light to be 15 instead of 11 so I can show you guys the wireless sync feature. So I'm gonna enable that on the light right now and then tap on that on the bottom of the transmitter, and you can see after a couple of seconds, or actually a second or two, the Godox AD600 Pro 2 did display that it said okay, but the transmitter is still gonna have this kind of searching signal, but it is gonna be synced now. So I'm gonna click on cancel on the transmitter. It's still on channel 11, but now the light is also on channel 11 as well. The second section in the menu is where you can change the flash mode. So if you really want to prioritize color temperature accuracy, then you can change it to the color temperature mode. Or if you prefer to prioritize fast flash durations, you can change it to freeze mode, which is really gonna improve the flash duration of the light itself. One quick example of the fast flash duration is going to be when you're on 512 output. With the freeze mode, it's 20,400, and I believe when you take it off of free mode, it becomes about 11,700. So it's a much faster flash duration. The next section, which says photo cell, is where you can change it to be on slave 1 or slave 2, or just leave that feature off. And the next section where it says high-speed sync is very simple. It's where you enable high-speed sync or turn it off. This next section that says model is where you can change the lamp on this light to be either continuously bright throughout the flashes that you might fire on this light, or if you want the lamp to turn off when you fire the light, then you can change it from continuous to enter. And like I mentioned before, you now have to access the menu to turn the beep on or off. This next section that says type is where you can actually change how the power output is displayed on this light. I actually prefer the fraction system that Godox is known for, but if you do prefer the numbered system that Profoto and Westcott uses, you can actually change that on this light by clicking on where it says type and then changing it from 1/512 to 1. And then from here, you can actually see that it's now at the lowest output of 1 and can go as high as 10, which is full power. But like I said before, I prefer fractions, so I'm gonna change it back to 1/512. The next section where it says standby is where you can have the light turn off after a couple of seconds, 30 seconds, I believe, a minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes. You also can turn the light off after a certain amount of time, which is that auto off section. Then you have a couple of things like brightness, where you can change the brightness level of this screen. I do have it specifically at this level so you guys can see the screen, the menu, but of course it can go very bright at 100%, which is gonna be perfect for bright sunny conditions. You can also have this light be delayed up to 30 seconds, but it goes by 0.1 of a second, I believe. So yeah, 0.01 of a second, all the way up to 30 seconds. You also have a mask mode, which is not something that I'm gonna explain right here, but it's basically something that product photographers use. You can change the language, you can also reset the light if you want to, or you can just display the device info, which is gonna click here, and you can see exactly what the light is and what version firmware it's on. So far, I haven't talked about some of the accessories for the 600 Pro 2, but if you guys know any of the accessories for the original 600 Pro, you can actually use those accessories like the extension head and the AC adapter with the new 600 Pro 2. In case you guys were wondering if the Godox AD600 Pro 2 is the same light as the Flashpoint XPLOR 600 Pro 2, then the answer is yes, they're the exact same lights. It's just that Adorama rebrands the lights under the Flashpoint products. So basically what that means is if you have the Godox transmitter and you want to use it with the Flashpoint XPLOR, you can do that, and vice versa. You can use a Flashpoint transmitter with a Godox light. Like I said before, I have been using this light for about a month now. I've used it on a photo walk. I've used it on 2 different photo shoots, one that was at a workshop and one that was just my own photo shoot. And I've really been enjoying this light. But having said that, if you don't find yourself needing any of the new improvements of the 600 Pro 2, then the original 600 Pro is still a great light, and it's actually at a discount because before the 600 Pro 2 came out, it was going to be, I think, $899. But now with the new 600 Pro 2 coming out, that one is going to be the one that's $899, and the original 600 Pro is going to be $799. Just to recap some of those features that the 600 Pro 2 has, it has a 40 watt ByColor LED mounting lamp, the new colorful display, which is going to be very easy to see in bright sunny conditions, faster flash durations with that new freeze mode, that new wireless sync mode that allows you to quickly synchronize your transmitter with your light, the new wider power output range of 1/1 to 512, which is a stop more of extra power range, and of course that color-coded group light indicator on the side of the light. I do plan to use the 600 Pro 2 on future photo shoots, both in the studio as well as in very bright sunny conditions outdoors that are readily available here in South Texas, so be on the lookout for those behind the scenes videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this review and that I answered most, if not all, the questions you have about the 600 Pro 2. If I missed anything at all and you're curious about something, let me know in the comments below. But for now, I'll just say take care guys, and I'll see you in the very next video.